All right, so story time. Since my man, the 16 of the world, sharing his stories, I figure I would share mine. And I've explained all the stuff that I do and stuff like that, and explain my experience with hemophilia. So I have severe hemophilia A, which my normal factor level is operating less than 1%. The normal factor level of people is around, I think, like 60 to 80%, something like that. So I've always had like spontaneous bleeding and stuff like that. So that's why a lot of the stuff that I do here is such a big deal, especially doing it alone, especially like the caving and stuff. Me running around in these barefoot shoes, in the caves with broken glass everywhere, and me running around out there on these hikes in these barefoot shoes. Anyway, I grew up with severe bleeding problems. I mean, I got tons of stories on that. I don't have as much detail, as he does, because I try to block a lot of that out. I just remember getting through it. That's all I try to focus on. I don't really focus on the pain and all that, because that kind of takes you into a dark, poor, pitiful me place. I don't like that. I don't need no pity. I made it through it. It's not that big a deal. Even though I'm in hemophilia serious business, I mean, I make a joking matter out of mine. I don't make it out of anybody else's. Because, it's just best for me to face is like, I'm not that important. I'm a joke. I'm joking, so it's really not that big a deal to me. But I got into hiking and stuff a few years ago. They got me on hemophilia, which is like a subcutaneous injection. It basically tricks your body into thinking that you're producing factor. It's kind of weird how it works. But the first injection that I got from that stuff, when I walked out of the doctor's office, I walked down the stairs normally for the first time that I can remember. Because I've always been hesitant of my feet touching the ground because it hurts so bad. Like I'm saying, I've got terrible ankles. I've had a bunch of bleeding in my ankles when I was younger. My ankles and my elbows were my target joints. So as far as like running and stuff like that, I can't do that because that's too much on my feet. But the hemophilia gave me faith in my feet. And then I got into the barefoot shoes. And then I really got a lot of faith in my feet because I could feel the ground. I could feel the earth beneath me. But anyway, and the doctors didn't want me to get on the hemophilia. The Indian doctor that I went to in Memphis, he didn't want me to get on it. His assistant is the one that actually got me pushed on it without him knowing. He got kind of upset about that because, the doctors are like insurance salesmen. They get kickbacks on all that stuff. So, my insurance didn't cover the hemophilia. I had to go through the patient assistant thing, okay? They always want you to kneel and suck their dick, pretend that you're a poor pitiful me, for them to help you so they can get some credibility and feel like heroes, okay? That's just the way that the money works. It's a fake hero story because they're printing it out of thin air. But that's not the point. Everything in the United States is fraudulent as far as like the money goes. But we won't get into that. It's all blood money. Hemophilia is like a recognized at the federal level in the United States because they run on blood. Their money is soaked in blood. I know they call it oil money, but that oil is really blood. I don't want nobody to admit that, but they're bloodthirsty. Anyway, so after that, they give me a lot of, like I said, my body finally realized what it's like to be safe in my own body. And I was like, it's on now, because like when I was younger and stuff, I got real bad off into drinking and drugs because I wanted to get as far out there as I could because, I didn't feel safe in my own body. I didn't feel safe anywhere. And that was the only way I could feel safe. So, that let me feel safe in my body. And then I got to where I was wanting to go hiking. I was wanting to try that out. And I looked around me at some like hiking trails. I just found the hardest one that was by me. There's like an 8-mile loop in Sipsey Wilderness called the Big Tree Loop. And me and my friend went out there one day, and we set off about, I don't know, about 11, 12 o'clock. And, starting off on the trail, I was slow going. I mean, I'm careful. Because I got to be, I don't want to get hurt. And he was all running up the hills and this and that. He was, oh, well, I need to come out here by myself, so I can do that. I said, okay. Anyway, we kept hiking. And we went up to this, it was on the back side of the loop. And we got up to a spot where I had some service, and I texted a few people and stuff. Because in the whole area there, you don't have any service. But when we got up that trail to the top of that ridge there, it kind of teed off. We went left to right. I looked at the map, and I mispositioned us wrong. Because, I didn't have really no idea what I was doing. I was kind of making it up as I went. So we took a left instead of a right. When we did that, we wound up circling back around to the bottom of the ridge, back to the trailhead that we turned in on. So it was already getting dark, and I only had one little flashlight in my bag. So we decided to backtrack our way out. That would be easier than try to, because we had to climb up a waterfall and stuff on that trail. It was pretty tough. So anyway, started trying to make our way back, and then all of a sudden it just got dark. And out there, you're out there in the middle of the wilderness. When it gets dark, it gets dark. Couldn't see anything. So there's like a creek crossing that was supposed to go across, but we'd forgotten about it. We couldn't see it in the dark because the trail is kind of hidden on the other side. So we got lost up in what's called Bee Branch Canyon up in there, which is a really confusing place if you're not familiar with it out there. And we just kept walking and trying to follow the ridge line out. And we just kept getting up into little canyons and little traps there. So by that time, we just wore out. I think we done hiked like about 16 miles that day. It was bad. So we decided to just camp out. Cowboy camp there on the ground. So we climbed up on top of a ridge, built a little fire, curled up around the fire. It was in November, so it's pretty chilly outside. It wasn't like freezing, but it was cold. Especially laying on top of a rock, with no blankets or anything. I had my backpack as a pillow. Anyway, so we camped out the night, and when we got up the next morning, man, both my feet were like swollen, dude. They was hurting, man. I couldn't hardly stand. It's bringing tears to my eyes to stand up. And I found a little stick, to use as kind of like a support, like kind of a walking cane. We had to climb back down that little bridge that we was on, that we camped on. And anyway, so I finally got that done. And then we get down to the bottom, and the first thing, it had to take crap. It just happens when you're out there in the woods, and it's the first thing in the morning. So did that, and then wiped the leaves, and that's just awful. So I was chafing like big time when we come out of there, and my feet were just killing me. But we had to hike about 8 miles out. So we finally found the spot where we got turned around, found the spot where we're supposed to cross the creek, and we got on in and we went out. And was getting close to the end, and hell, then at this time my buddy was like, man, I can't make it, I can't keep going, my knees is hurting. I was having to, get him, riled up and keep him going, keep him motivated, because that's kind of what we do with hemophilia, because we care deeply, we're careful, they can't nothing stop us, we just have to push through. That's all we know. So anyway, we get closer to the end of the trailhead and look up, and there's a helicopter flying over real low. I was like, man, what are they doing? And we get to the trailhead, and there's a search party coming in. There's like, you Joey King? I was like, yeah. And said, man, we've been looking everywhere for you. I said, wait, what do you mean, dog? I'm fine. I didn't call you. Tell you anything was wrong. They was all panicking and freaking out. I was like, man, it's not that big a deal. Yeah, then his mama and my mama were down there at the trailhead. His mama's freaking out and everything. And my mama just back there grinning. I said, yeah, you knew I was going to come, man. This shit can't stop me. But and my dad and another search party was, they went around the backside of the trail. And they was up there on top of those ridges. My dad got some cell service, and I called him and talked to him, told him I was fine. And yeah, he was just about dying. He was about out of breath. I was like, yeah, it's rough, ain't it? But I didn't want to leave with my dad up in there, you know, looking for me. And even though when I got to that car, man, my feet was dead. I was done. But I mean, hell, I was ready to get back out there. I mean, you know, if I had to go out there and get my dad, then hell, I'd do that too. You know, it's just the way I am. But yeah, I mean, that's how I got into this. You know, after that, I was kind of addicted. You know, so then I figured out that, hey, I just need to go here by myself and don't tell nobody. You know, so they don't worry. Yeah, because I'll figure it out. You know, it's not that big a deal. But anyway, I just want to share that story. I got a bunch more to share, as you can imagine, from all the hikes and adventures I've been on, plus beforehand. But yeah, our life is rather exciting. You know, so it kind of is what it is. I mean, it sucks at times, but I mean, when you get over it, it's like, wow, it's like mind blowing that we did that, you know. So I mean, we're like little kids at heart. You know, like I said, I mean, we hold something precious. We never fully lose that childhood innocence. That's what makes a lot of people envious of us too, like secretly hate us. You know. So anyway, I want to share.